I was born and raised here in Texas. Went to school at Cornell, grew up in the hospitality business. My parents were in the hotel industry. Went to Cornell, worked in
But where are you from?
That's the age-old question.
But where are you really from?
She's not from Texas. So my ancestry's Indian, and my family's 4 generations from East Africa, Tanzania. Anyways, went to school at Cornell and fell in love with restaurants.
Oh.
That's why we're here.
I thought that was going a different way. Thanks. No, my name is Braden Wages, and I'm from upstate New York originally. My family's in the restaurant. I grew up in the restaurant business. I'm in the restaurant business now. I grew up in the amusement park business, which was a lot of fun. My dad built roller coasters. I worked in food service and the food stalls and amusement parks, and that kind of led into the restaurant business from there. I went to school with Yasmin, which was a long time ago, at Cornell, studying restaurant management. We worked the same job together after that in Napa Valley, which was a lot of fun, living and working in Napa Valley, California, and we moved to Texas, 10 years ago?
10 years ago.
10 years ago.
So do you prefer wooden roller coasters or the newer ones?
Absolutely,
Ooh.
yes. That's a great question. I'm a certified amusement park roller coaster enthusiast. There's actually a certification in a club you join for that. And I much prefer wooden roller coasters. I'm proud to say that my grandfather built the #1 wooden roller coaster in the world for about that, held that title for about 10 years, and my father built the number one and fastest wooden roller coaster in the world for about, I think just recently something else has come out faster or better than that one in Connecticut.
We met on the first day of school, freshman year at Cornell, and we're friends all through college. We were in classes together. He TA'd some of my classes.
Yes.
I know. And then we didn't start dating until after college. We both took a job with Hillstone Restaurant Group out in Napa, California, and that's when we started dating.
It's beautiful out there.
So what did mom and dad say the first time you brought him in?
That's...
They adore him now. Absolutely adore him.
Yeah, exactly.
I noticed that 3-letter word now. What does that mean exactly?
Great question. So we...
My family has a strong cultural background.
I got you.
It took them a little time to warm up to the idea, but
Yeah, it did.
But we dated for almost 5 years before we got married, and that gave everyone a lot of time to get to know each other, and we've been married for 10 years now.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about the name Malai Kitchen. How did you come by that?
That's definitely a question for you.
Yeah, so it has meaning in Thai. In Thai, it's the literal meaning is a floral lei, and then culturally, they also use it as a slang word for beauty. We came up with Malai because Malai in the Indian culture is like a rich custard, like a rich creamy custard. And when I was a kid, my dad loved Malai. It was like one of his favorite things when my mom made it. And he would refer to things that were luxurious or that were really well made. He would refer to them as Malai. And so it was always like this word in my head that I grew up thinking whenever I associated with Malai, it was always like something
And we
that
just,
was great
even
quality.
long before we opened the restaurant, we would be places and be like, oh, that's so Malai. That's such, so
that's-
luxurious. It's such high quality.
Yeah.
And so as we were, getting ready to open our first restaurant, we were thinking about names, and we wanted something that didn't have a ton of, it didn't mean anything to anyone else, really. We kind of wanted a more abstract name, but something that was really meaningful to us. And so it really came very quickly and naturally, and I love that name. I think it really defines us so well.
Do you try to infuse, because you're your cultures that you guys represent, do you try to infuse a lot of different type foods from Vietnam, America, India? I mean, are you looking to try to?
I mean, we definitely think of ourselves as a Thai, Vietnamese, or Southeast Asian restaurant primarily. We really we love that cuisine because it's healthy, because it's craveable, because it's unique. And so for the most part, that's the core of our menu, is really trying to take some of the signature dishes from the region and do the best possible job with them, using the really high quality of ingredients we can get here, using the good culinary technique that we've learned, and that we're really in the forefront of here. And so that's the primary basis of our menu. We do have some dishes that are a little bit more globally inspired from places we've traveled. Like we have a few, like the shishito peppers being Japanese-esque dish, and we have Indian samosas on the menu. Just things that we like to eat and that complement our menu well. But for the most part, we don't think of ourselves as much as a global restaurant. We're Southeast Asian.
And speaking of peppers, what is the hottest pepper that you guys use?
We use a Thai chili.
A lot of them.
On the Richter scale of hotness, whatever that's called, how hot
Scoville
is that?
scale.
That's the one. How far does that go up?
I don't want to misspeak, so I can't tell you, but I think it's like 10,000 Scoville units, but it's kind of an abstract, because it has to do with one Thai chili they're small peppers, is less meat than say a jalapeno or something like that. But the Thai chilies, every chili pepper is unique in the way you perceive the heat, how it builds. Like some you taste right in the front, like on your lips, and you feel that burn immediately. And some, like the Thai chilies, kind of build, and so you may think, oh, that's not that hot, and then all of a sudden you're really in pain, or And some people love to have that high burn, and some people don't, and that makes them feel uncomfortable. And so that's one of the things that we think sets us apart, is that we can cook any dish to the spice level of what people are comfortable with. And for me personally, I used to like as spicy as I can go, and now I just like medium spice because I want to taste my food. And I was like constantly trying to outdo myself and build it up, and now I got to that point, and I don't need to prove anything. And so now I just enjoy a medium.
The trick is the Thai chili is also, regrettably, one of the most inconsistent as far as the spice is concerned. So sometimes they're just we have to cut down how much we put in the kitchen, and sometimes they're just not packing that much heat at all. So even extra spicy, people will be like, it's just not there.
No, but we try
really hard to.
Just like if you go to a steakhouse, you want your steak medium rare, you want it medium well. We cook each dish to the spice temperature that people want. And so if somebody says they want a rare steak, you hope the kitchen's going to serve you a rare steak. Just like if somebody says, I want the spiciest you can make it, we try to make it as spicy as possible, because we don't want to disappoint that person that really really enjoys the high burn.
The fire-breathing dragon in them.
Yeah, exactly. Graduation's been top of mind for us lately here, because we've had a lot of, it's graduation week in Southlake. We've had a lot of graduation parties, and we're seeing a lot of families and, people getting ready to start the next chapter of their life. It's exciting. And, the one thing that we always talk about that is the most rewarding part of what we do is that we enjoy it. We look forward to coming to work, and it doesn't feel like work. I've had some jobs in the past. I was a valet for a little while, and I worked. Anyway, it felt like work, and it wasn't the same. But working in the restaurant environment, the pace, serving people, cooking for people.
Meeting people.
Yeah, it's not... We enjoy coming. It doesn't feel like work. I don't count how many hours we work. And so having that mentality to what you do, I think, is the best.
Is key. I think it's key to someone's success.
Right.
I think genuinely being able to enjoy your work will make the rest of your life so much more enjoyable outside of work, at work, and you'll feel much. I think your ability to succeed is much greater if you genuinely enjoy what you do. And for us, like you said, it's not work. We really have fun. And people ask us, they're like, man, 8 years, aren't you exhausted? It's like, not really. I mean, we really have fun.
Exactly.
We have fun making an impact on our guests when they really love their experience. We have fun making an impact on our team when someone comes in and we can elevate their lifestyle because they're doing better here or because they've improved themselves by working with us. When we have an employee that's working here to get through college and then they finish and they're pursuing their dream, that's like, for us, that's so awesome. And then they're always grateful to us that we were able to give them the tools that they needed to be successful in their life. So, I mean, it's an incredibly rewarding career to have, I think.
But I think it's just finding that fit for yourself. You know, not everyone could succeed in this environment. And just like we wouldn't succeed in a lot of other environments or types of responsibilities, that this just calls to us. And I encourage people to try some different things and find what suits them and what is fun for them and what is something they can continue to look forward to doing. And that could change over time, but we definitely love what we do.
Yeah. But get out there and experience different jobs, different paths, and find what works best for you.
One of the things that I find in the brief moments that I've gotten to know you guys in the pre-interview and watching you in action is you guys seem to genuinely enjoy each other's company. I mean, you really...
that was a joke, right? He was joking.
I was infatuated watching you guys do the wine tasting. And you would start a sentence, you would finish it. I was like, you guys have been married for 50 years. It was unbelievable to watch the process.
We spend a lot of time together. We're lucky. We enjoy working together. We enjoy...
One reason we opened our own restaurant was because we loved being in restaurants and we loved working in the industry. And we had, we both would each have our restaurant that we'd go to work for. And we'd hardly see each other. We'd get home at 10 o'clock at night or later, and we wouldn't have as much time to spend together. And so we were like, man, we're working this hard for other people. If we do it ourselves, we can work together. We can spend all this time together. Instead, it'll be great. And that's what...
Plus, somebody needs to keep an eye on her. Can you imagine? Out there all alone? It'd be a disaster.
Spinning around in circles.
Yeah.
Lost.
No, but we're lucky because we do have different skill sets. In the restaurant, I spend more time in the kitchen. I'm more of the food and recipe and systems mindset, where she's definitely brings a lot more of the hospitality side. She's really good with our guests and with our servers and our staff, and our skill sets complement each other, and so it's necessary that we work together. That it's not necessary. It helps us be more successful. Working together. How
do you find balance? You have to balance your private life with your working life. There's got to be. Is there a clear-cut wall between those two?
There's definitely no clear-cut wall, but I will tell you, we have surrounded ourselves with an incredible group of people that support us. So we've talked a lot about us and what we do, but none of this would be possible if we didn't have all the people on our team that help us. So each restaurant has a team of managers that are just as passionate as we are, that care as much as we do. And so it really helps us find that balance because we feel like we can step away and hang out with our kids for a day or two and not worry about the restaurant. And we know that it's being handled, it's being taken care of because we have people we trust.
What does make a good employee? What are you guys looking for? Do you know it when they walk in the door if they have a certain, or
do you know it when they walk in the door?
That's a great question. No, you don't. You can't tell everything from a first impression, but we definitely, finding the right people, keeping the right people is definitely the only way you can survive in this business. And we've been really fortunate. I think that we have a mission statement here. We're a tiny little restaurant, but we believed in it from day one that we needed to have something that communicated to our team, what was expected. And it's simply, I care. We want people just to care. If they care genuinely about the restaurant, our guests, our food, our stuff, us, each other, then everything else takes care of itself. So we just want people that care as much as we do, and it helps that we're here as much as we are because they can see the passion that we have. They can see how excited we are about certain things that we're doing. That is contagious, and so hopefully that spreads through the team. But we just want people that want to be here and believe in what we're doing, and they're not just here for a paycheck. If you go to work for a paycheck, you're never going to give your best.
But how do you do that? How do you keep them motivated? Because there's a lot of competition for employees out there now.
There is, but in my opinion, we do something special here, and we tell them the day we hire them that they could go work next door and make as much money probably. So it can't be for the money. That people have to be here because they enjoy the environment. They enjoy, it's really rewarding to serve. If we look at our servers, to serve people in our restaurant because they sit there and take compliments from our guests all day long, and really, we make people really happy who dine here, and so that process is very rewarding for our staff.
And it's always nice to hear a server say, "Man, I've never had a job where I actually like the food that I'm serving. Like I can eat. They eat here all the time, and they can actually talk about the food to their guests." From a personal perspective, like, oh yeah, it's amazing, it's so fresh and it tastes great, and it's great when someone says, man, I worked at this place and I never could say that about it. So it's a nice change of pace to be here.
Yeah, and we want people to stick with us for a long term. There's a lot of things to learn. It's like learning a foreign language, both in the kitchen and in front of house, to learn all the whys, and we put a lot of thought into all the details of what we do, and so it takes a while for people to get really comfortable and good here. And so for that reason, we're always looking for people that kind of stick with us more in the medium and long term to kind of be worth that initial investment of learning all the stuff that goes into it. And just how we handle ourselves in our life, we don't. It's not helpful to bounce around to different jobs or to work some places kind of halfway. I think you kind of have to be committed.
I'm going to say 3 words, and just tell me the first thought that jumps in your mind when I say those 3 words. And Yasmin, we'll start with you.
Uh-oh.
Beat Bobby Flay.
I knew that was coming. I just knew those were the 3 words coming. Beat Bobby Flay. I was so proud of him.
Oh, that's nice.
I was so proud of him.
That's not what you said that day.
It is what I said. It is exactly what I said that day. You're such a liar. No, it was an experience. It was absolutely an experience. But he put his best foot forward, and man, in my opinion, he nailed it.
Oh, thanks. I didn't. Can I go? Do I get a chance at this? The premise of Beat Bobby Flay is that you go and showcase something that you do better than anyone, and he tries to compete with that. I jumped at the opportunity when they discovered Malai and said, you guys would be a great fit because you guys really put a lot of effort and thought into every dish you make. We jumped at that because, that's one thing we were most proud of is that we really try to have the best version of everything on our menu. And I thought there would be no chance that I couldn't destroy Bobby Flay at making a Thai green curry is the dish that I challenged him to. I was worried about, there's 2 rounds in the show. You have to compete with another chef with a mystery box kind of item and come up with the best dish on the fly. And then the second round, if you win the first one, is to compete against Bobby Flay with your signature dish. It's I studied, because I know my cuisine very well, but I don't know all the foods in the world, and so I was really nervous about the first round, and that was the item was crab, and I love crab, and so that went pretty easily. We ended up taking the dish we made on that and put it on the menu, which I'm excited about. And then the second round was against Bobby Flay, and it was a lot of fun to be in a studio, to have there was a lot of bright lights. I sweat a little bit because it was hot and there was a lot of lights, It was against a time clock, but anyway, it was fun, and it was great to show people what goes into a green curry, because a lot of people don't understand curries. They're really misunderstood, and we do ours as well with as much scratch preparation, as much sweat and agony as anyone in the world. I think green curry is a really unique dish, and we said that from day one. This is going to be one thing that's going to really set us apart. And so we thought we'd kill it, and it was fun. I got to make coconut milk from scratch, and you could see Bobby Flay like agonizing with the type of cooking that I was doing across the room from him. And you could see
he couldn't believe some of the stunts he was pulling out. He was like, "What?"
Yeah, when so I started cracking coconuts and get out the mortar and pestle to make my curry paste and things like that. It was I felt like I super had it in the bag the entire time. I was talking a lot of trash because they encouraged that, and I'm good at that.
What was some of the trash that you tossed his way? Give us an example.
No.
I don't know that I could remember any now.
Just things like, where are your coconuts? How are you making a curry without coconuts? Have you even had green curry before?
I think all the people were on one side. But no, there was no way to
sabotage Bobby. But you got one thing that I have to say is that he has to put his reputation in the line every episode that he airs, and I admire that. I think that's so really challenging. I couldn't imagine trying to do that, on TV, and so you could see how he carries that stress with him. It's not an easy thing that he has to do at all, despite the fact that he's obviously an amazing chef and very knowledgeable. Things like being thrown Thai green curry to compete with, it's admirable.
We talked briefly about a craft brewery that you're looking to expand. Tell us what's going on with that.
Yeah, so we have our own brewery in all three of our restaurants. We brew our own beer. All the beer we serve is brewed in-house, and we have 6 varieties of beer on tap. We started
2014, 13?
Something like that, about 5 years ago, almost. Probably 5 years ago, we started brewing our own beer, and we started with one, and it's kind of grown over time. But we can't keep up. People love it.
So owning 3 restaurants isn't enough. We've got it.
So we started brewing our own beer because in Hanoi, there's this beer called Beer Hoi, which means today's beer, and it's like this quick brew fresh beer that's served all over the streets. And so every afternoon when you in northern Vietnam, around like 3:00 in the afternoon, everything shuts down and all these little Beer Hoi places pop up. They put their little plastic chairs and stools out in the street, and they serve these little glasses of cold fresh brewed beer with snacks and things.
Sometimes cold.
So he had been telling me about it, and when we went, I experienced it, and I'm not a huge beer drinker, but it was one of the coolest experiences because it's like a community event almost. And
is that what you're trying to capture?
Yeah.
So when we came back, we said, "Listen, we got to serve this," and we tried to find anybody that would make it, that makes it, that would make it for us. And of course, at the time we had one restaurant, so no one's going to make it for us. And so, in keeping with the theme of everything else we do, we were like, all right, we'll do it ourselves.
In-house.
Yeah, we'll make it fresh from scratch in-house every day, just like everything else we do. And that's what we did. We
started like a home brewer and doing home brewing in the back in the kitchen, and that built our confidence. And then we started, we can brew beer. This isn't so hard. So then we started making one of our another signature beers called Thai PA, and IPAs are very popular right now.
The Thai PA started really from the name. One of our employees came in one day and was like, guys. I have the perfect name for another beer. We have to find a way. I'm like, what is it? He goes, Thai PA. It's amazing. And we're like, oh, yeah, that's really good. That's super good. And so we're like, all right, let's do some research. And we started looking up IPAs and kind of found a way to make a Thai PA. And so we made a beer, an IPA style beer, but we infused it with ingredients we use in the kitchen. So it has a bunch of Thai flavors to it.
lemongrass and kaffir lime and ginger and coriander, things that actually complement hops and high hop beer like IPAs so well. And that's, we think about what makes us different is that we have a brewery in the kitchen where we cook all this great food, so we have access to all these ingredients and flavors. And so
it was really fun though. That the second one was fun. And so from there it's like, well, if we're doing this, we may as well just keep going.
Yeah.
So is the customer going to be able to walk out the door with a growler in their hand, or are there rules and laws and regulations?
No, we are allowed to do growlers.
We sell growlers.
So we sell growlers. You can bring your own, or you can buy a Malai embossed growler here. But we don't bottle and we don't distribute.
Yeah, so you can only buy our beers in the restaurant, but just in the restaurant to keep up with the restaurant volume, we're not keeping up. So we're looking to expand our brewery in this restaurant. I think in this restaurant we're going to have almost double the production of what we currently have, which will give us opportunity to have more styles of beer and of course not run out.
Keep up.
Yeah. So
you were given a pretty big thumbs up by one of the candidates for city council, Rennell Smith. In one of the debates, they asked him, "What's your favorite restaurant?" You want to guess what he said?
Really?
Yes, he did.
hey,
You should try to
Hey,
and he got
that's
elected.
awesome.
nailed it. I think everything we do is unique, and we talked about why we have this restaurant in the first place. It's because it's healthy, it's fresh, it's flavorful and addictive. And we started this restaurant. As we started this restaurant, we tried to have the best of everything in it. So we tried to have the best design. We tried to have the best cuisine. For all the reasons I just mentioned, we try to have the best service style, which is unique. Our service style is unique, and with that, we're trying to be both a place you can have a casual, quick bite, or a place you can come for a special occasion, or a business dinner, or and so being able to suit so many different kinds of needs, I think, is important also.
Yeah, and we're as obsessed as we are with quality and freshness, we also value value. And I think there's a lot to be said in being able to have a quality, filling, healthy meal without breaking the bank. And so I think that's the other thing that kind of sets us apart. And people don't realize that we're a place you can eat a few times a week, a few times a month. You can come for a special occasion, but you can also just come because it's Monday night and you don't want to cook.